If you have not already thought about a succession, it is imperative that you develop a strategy to plan for what happens when you're not there anymore. Michael Timms is the founder of consulting group Avail Leadership, and he's also author of the book, Succession Planning That Works. It's so good to see you, Michael.
Yeah, thanks, JJ, for having me.
You know, there are two ways to think about this. One is what happens if something suddenly happens to me in the story, like in the story we just saw, right? And I can't run my business anymore. And another is a more natural one, which is when I'm ready to retire or sell a business, move on. What do I do? So do you need to have the same kind of planning in place, and when should you start thinking about this?
Yeah, absolutely. We've all seen tragedies where somebody who, an owner of a business has suddenly departed, and which it's very tragic, but it also can be catastrophic for the business. But regardless of whether you're planning for that or just planning for growth, you should have effectively the same plan in place.
Okay, so what does it mean to have a succession plan? A
succession plan is really just, or succession planning in general, is just developing leaders at every level of the organization. And on a very basic level, succession planning is really two things. One is identifying people with leadership potential, and two is developing that potential.
Is it about saying, okay, one day I'm not going to be here and Joe is going to be in charge? Is it actually pointing to the person who's going to take over for you? Or is it saying, here are a group of people and any one of them could take charge?
Yeah, and I think that's a mistake that a lot of companies make, is that they kind of anoint one person to be their successor, and that can be a problem if something happens to that successor. So yeah, it's the latter, JJ. It's selecting and grooming and developing a group of individuals who can step in and take in at various times.
So most small business owners don't really think about this until it's too late, right? I want to retire in a month. Uh-oh, there's nobody to take over. What should people be thinking of? Or what are the biggest mistakes people make when thinking about this?
Well, I think the most obvious mistake that businesses make is not having a succession plan that we've just seen. But I think another mistake that businesses make when they start to think about succession planning is they say, okay, well, I need to promote some people and get some people, kind of my next level of management ready here, and so I'm just going to promote people, and they do that based on technical ability only, and they don't really consider their leadership ability. And that's called the Peter principle. That's promoting people to their level of incompetence. And it's not fair to the individual to set them up for failure, nor is it fair to the business.
Do you find that this happens, when somebody is thinking about succession planning, should they talk about this with the team? Hey guys, one day I'm not going to be here anymore. I'm trying to set the company up for success for when I'm not and somebody else runs it. Or do you just run the company as you normally would, right? Promote people who are good so that they become good managers and your company grows, and not talk about it framed in the language of succession planning?
No, the worst thing that can possibly happen when you have a succession plan and you're working with individuals and developing people and getting them ready, the worst thing that can possibly happen is to have those individuals say, you know what, I'm giving my resignation, I'm leaving because I don't see any career opportunity for me here. I'm going to somewhere where I can have more opportunity to advance. And you're saying, no, wait, I was thinking about promoting you the whole time. I had a plan in place for you. It's too late, right? So no, you need to be telling people ahead of time and involving them in the process.
So be very obvious and very, very forthright about, hey, one day I'm going to leave, and so that's why we're doing this.
You got it.
All right, great. Well, Michael, thank you so much for coming on the program. We really appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me.